4-H started in 1902, and in the United States there are about 6 million 4-H members.
Wow.
And there are actually 4-H organizations in 50 nations around the world. The green shaded areas are places on the map that have some form of 4-H. Maybe they might not call it 4-H, but it's similar. 4-H is open to youth who are 5 through 19 years of age. And rather than just me speaking, what I'd like to do is have Linda, who is a star 4-H member here in our county, I'd like her to speak a little bit, and then they can ask her directly her experiences, and that way it'll be some interaction. And we can have Linda here for a while, but Linda's is also a star bagpiper, and she has to go to a funeral to play for them. So,
Oh, I see.
but she can be with us for about 30 minutes or so.
The bagpiper is a Scottish instrument, wind instrument. You know.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know.
We don't have to leave till like 9:15.
Oh, okay, so good.
Because we don't have to be to Hillcrest till 10.
Okay.
So.
So if you want
Uh-huh.
to.
Well, hello, my name is Linda Snoddy. I'm one of the youth leaders and all-stars for Kern County. So I started 4-H when I was 9, and I've been in there for about 9 years. And one of the main things that I've learned in 4-H is leadership, and the 4-H program has a very, it stresses strongly about leadership and learning how to be, a youth leader and then eventually an adult leader. We also have other projects that include animal projects, arts, home economics, and because of that, I take poultry project, and so I help the younger members in our club with their poultry and whatever they do in that project. And 4-H also is a lot about learning about what you want to do possibly as a future career. Pretty much anything you want to make into a project, you can do it in 4-H. And 4-H has many leadership opportunities because here in Kern County, the all-stars and the high 4-Hers can help organize different events for the county, and they also work at the events and perform leadership activities.
Who help All Stars?
Yeah, the all-stars. Those are the teenagers in 4-H here. Yes, and 4-H, there are a lot of agricultural projects. There's the animals and horticulture projects. And in 4-H, there are leadership functions, and they can go to either different universities here in California, or they can go out of state for leadership or other conventions. And another thing the 4-H kids here have to do is something called a record book, and that's where they have to keep a record of all their projects and what they do in 4-H. And here's my record book right here. You want to look at it?
Wow.
Be noted, Linda is an exceptional 4-H member. They're not all this big.
Okay.
This was the winner of record book competition, being judged for her record book.
And in 4-H, when we do competitions such as Home Ec Field Day or Presentation Day, we win these awards called pins, and we put them on our hat and build them up over the years.
So this is a collection of pins for 9 years again.
Yes.
9 years of hard work. Each one of those is a special accomplishment.
Those pins are only 4 years because her other hat has the other.
Yeah, it's the other
Yes,
side.
she has a lot more than just.
I see.
Yeah, she has a whole other hat from her junior years that is that full too.
Okay.
As I said, she's an exceptional 4-H member. She's got.
And would you mind to introduce yourself, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Janine Snoddy, her mother.
Oh, cool.
All right, are there any questions?
So tell us about your, you're about off to go to university maybe next year. Tell us how you came to whatever conclusion you're making and what you think you'd like to do in the future.
Well, actually, my mom started the music project here in Kern County, and I developed in that, and so now I'm going to get my music degree at the university.
And tell us, in the last 9 years in this kind of development leadership, how do you see this contributing to your future career? These skills that you've learned and the abilities that you've developed.
Well, being in 4-H, I've learned how to organize meetings, and for projects or group activities, I've learned how to work with people and delegate work so we can work towards a common goal and get things done. All right, are there any other questions? Well, I'm going to college in Canada, which is the country above this one. Gonna get a music degree there and possibly have a major in bagpiping. Canada, the university I'm going to, it has a good music program because I also play piano and flute, but also they have what's called a pipe band, and that's basically a band of other bagpipers and drummers, and we play competitively.
So what she's saying is that they are really impressed with your skills and with your involvement in this program, and not only what's called impressed with you particularly, but with the program itself that has been like established long before. Maybe you said 1902, right? It's more than 100 years. It's really impressive, and we would like to wish you like all the best in your future life and in getting all your objectives fulfilled as you are planning. And then I asked, it's gonna be kind of a closing speech from your side. Don't you have any other questions? I was kind of asking them. Then she said that this lady has a question to your mom.
Okay.
And maybe they might come up some other questions meanwhile. So.
All right.
So the question is like to you, ma'am. So she's asking, what was the reason that Linda chose to play in this type of instrument? Is it because you felt some sort of attraction in her towards this particular instrument, and then you train in her that interest and those skills, or it is something that she picked up herself to play in this particular instrument, for example?
No, my father was a bagpiper, and he was from Canada. And then my husband's father was a music teacher.
Okay.
And so she started music when she was 8 with the flute. That was her first instrument.
I see. She's asking how many kids you have, how many children you have, and which one of them the Linda is.
4, and she's the youngest.
And what about the other 3? Are they also involved in these 4-H programs, and are they also interested in any sort of music?
All of them played musical instruments. The older girls, we actually didn't know about 4-H, so the older girls, we did Girl Scouts.
Okay.
And but they're a lot older. Linda was a late surprise.
I see.
And so they're one's a social worker, and one's a CPA, and one is a school teacher.
CPA is certified public accountant.
Accountant.
Okay.
She's an accountant.
So one
but
is,
they're all a lot older. They're 36 and 30 and 25. So.
And one is teacher, one is, you said?
An accountant, and one is a social worker.
Social worker, okay. The Girl Scout would be something similar to this, or?
The scouting is, there are, in the United States and in other parts of the world, there are what's called Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. They're a different type of organization. We actually fall under the University of California, and so we're more inclusive. We allow boys, girls, and it's much more family oriented.
Okay.
So
right, and that's true.
So you picked up the interest and the talent from the family, from your grandparents. It seems.
For example, here's just to boast with her. Here's her sewing projects. She learned from her mother how to sew, and she got awards for those kind of things.
One of the reasons I asked Linda was because she has a very diverse 4-H activity. She has, as you can see, the animals, the music, the sewing. The strength of our program is adult volunteers who volunteer their time to teach these different projects.
I see. Oh, okay.
So that's one of the
main
yes.
things. Okay.
And she just doesn't help Linda. She helps other kids as well. It's not a parent just helping their children. It's parents helping other children. You help. You have a talent. that you help volunteer with my children and their children, and then I have a talent and I share with. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. So the question is coming. So how this 4-H works? Like, is it kind of NGO type of organization, or like, or is it is it part of government entity, and how it's getting financed, and like all these things?
In the United States, the 4-H program in each state is administered by what's called the Land Grant University.
Okay.
And
I
here
know.
it's Davis, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the money comes from the federal government,
Hmm?
some of the money comes from the state government, and some comes from the county.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it has that name, Cooperative Extension. Those three agencies cooperate.
Okay.
They provide for a paid staff person.
Mm-hmm.
And my responsibility is to help serve the volunteers
Mm-hmm.
who put the program on. The volunteers raise money for how our county works the program. So the
that's
volunteers
another
raise a
source,
lot of
another
money.
source.
Yes.
Okay.
And their volunteer hours in the state of California combined, just California, is valued at $26 million a year, the time that volunteers, like with this
Only
time,
within 4-H program.
with just
$26
4-H.
million.
Yes,
Wow.
just for, it's valued, their volunteer time. All the leaders, the 14,000 leaders we have across the state, the time that they contribute is considered to be.
The question is coming, like, is there are there any what's called the possibilities for the 4-H activists or 4-H stars if they need financial help, for example, for them to be sponsored at the cost of 4-H, for example, maybe in order to go to university and pay the fees and tuitions and so on, or if they are in some sort of emergency situations.
Do you want to answer that, or would you?
Well, yes, 4-H does provide scholarships for the members. I've actually won a few scholarships from doing Circle of Excellence, which is about a test on my animal project. And you can apply for different scholarships in 4-H. And don't you need letters from leaders? Yeah. You need letters from leaders to submit to a scholarship, and that they'll help you pay for university.
So I didn't get the meaning of what you said about the animal project. You said that you got the scholarship as a result of
Winning.
involvement.
There's a variety of scholarships available, and Linda's knowledge and activity level in 4-H, it's shown that has leadership. So when she applies for scholarships, her knowledge that she has from her projects and her leadership helps contribute to that when she applies for a scholarship.
Yeah.
Okay. So that scholarship can be given only for certain amount of time, or for entire 4 years or 5 years that you are going to school?
Most of the scholarships are a one-time scholarship. It's an exceptional one that has 4 years or more, but there are a few out.
And then one scholarship she's getting from the university where she's going, it's not from 4-H, but it's from the university, but it's specifically aimed at somebody who's done a lot of community service, and 4-H does a lot of community service, so she will be eligible for that.
From the
scholarship.
University of
Prince Edward Island,
in
where she's going
in Canada?
in Canada.
Okay.
When I think of Linda, I'll always think of a little girl holding a chicken, because that was her main project for the longest time. But over the last few years, she's really become quite the piper, and she actually brought these in. She just wanted to show them
Okay.
real quick.
All right.
And you can tell them she has won the highest award for her meat chickens at the fair.
So yeah, that was something that I was thinking to ask her.
Yeah, she has won grand champion for her meat chickens. You know, the kind
So-
you eat, the broiler chickens.
So actually, my question was like about the chicken project, but like what you did in that chicken project. I mean, what was your objective, and like for how long you had to do it? And what were the steps that you used?
Well, for the poultry project, what I did was I learned about how to show a chicken and how to raise them. I also did meat
How
birds.
to what chicken?
How to show it,
Show
like
me.
how to
It must be
exhibit.
displayed. You have to
Yeah.
Oh,
when
okay.
you show it, you display its
the-
health.
From the
Yeah.
from the egg, you mean? From eggshell?
No, the show chickens. That's basically on the conformation and the health of the bird.
Okay.
And also, I learned about phrasing meat birds, for eating and stuff.
And
You say
turkeys.
And
phrasing,
turkeys.
phrasing?
Raising.
Raising, sorry.
And I've raised turkeys and ducks along with my poultry project.
So you developed certain like food ratios and so on for
Mhm.
them
Yes.
in order
Yes.
to. Okay.
All right, and this is one of my 4-H projects. It's my instrument I was telling you about. These are the bagpipes, and if you want to look at them, you can. All right, so this is my instrument. Would they like me to play it, or okay? I can play this, which is much quieter.
This is
Okay.
This is called a chanter.
It's what they practice on when they don't want to get all their whole bag out,
Mm-hmm.
is what it is.
All right, so would they like me to play something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this tune, it's called a hornpipe. Beverly's Wedding. It's a traditional piece, and it's quite popular.
I just want to point out one thing too. Part of the 4-H projects that the youth do, some of the animal projects, they raise money that they can use to go to school. Through this, Linda is often asked and sometimes paid, a lot of times paid, to go to different things, and it's a skill she has learned which helps her in life to help. And I just want to add, the reason that I asked Linda to come here today is she could show you much more than me speaking what 4-H has done for someone. And I believe you said two of these folks were politicians.
And they are
Yes.
teachers.
Okay.
Two teachers and he's
Many times, our county office, the budgeting comes into play, and when they want to know, well, our politicians want to know, well, what is 4-H? What does it do? I don't go to speak to them. I send folks like Linda and others, the teenagers, to serve as spokespersons for the program because they live it. And
They are saying we have a sort of different awards, like for the for different fields, for the folks from the sports field, for the children coming from the field of music and so on, like literature, and so there are different types of awards, like national awards or government awards, and some of them would allow some sort of scholarship, as you said. Some of them would allow them just to get recognition from this, from the environment where they want to get involved in future and so on. So, and it seems it's some sort of similar activity that 4-H also does. So,
Our main goal is citizenship, leadership, and life skills.
Mhm.